Hello, in this video I'd like to talk about the One Thing plan as an actual plan. So we want to get into a little bit of detail, and we're going to talk about it as a personal plan. Napoleon Hill said, reduce your plan to writing. Give concrete form to the intangible desire. And he wrote that some time ago in the Think and Grow Rich, the second bestseller after the Bible. And I think that it still rings true to all of us. I suggest that you write a personal plan to ensure that you're heading in the right direction, number one. And remember, plan activities, not goals. Also, I think it's important to plan because what gets measured gets done. If you have a plan, it's a reality check, it's there on paper, you look at it, you did it, you didn't do it. I also think it's important that you plan so that you know whether you're being successful or not. Remember our definition of success. It's really important that you can define whether or not you're being successful. So success is a progressive realization of a predetermined, worthwhile personal goal. It's a thing of the present moment. If you don't have a plan, if you haven't articulated what that looks like, how do you know? How can you tick the boxes? How do you know if you're being successful or not? And the last one, I think plans are really important in terms of spotting trends. As you update your plans, continue to update them, you can see patterns and trends. I think trends are much more indicative of future success than goals and activity plans are. If you want to know what the future looks like, look at the past. Then you have to go and change something for a different future. As discussed in previous videos, it's important when we start the planning process in the One Thing plan that we start with our inside out. Remember, why, how and what, vision, values and mission. And we start there and we work on to setting strategic goals. I suggest not too many, probably no fewer than 5 and certainly no more than 7 or 8. Personally, I like the headings of health, relationship, development, work, money and fun. So I have 6 headings and I develop strategic goals in those areas. I always do an exercise of writing down why I want to achieve a goal. So when I write down a big goal, I say, why am I trying to achieve it? I find that energizes, that sort of motivates me. I say, actually, I know what's in it for me. I know why I'm doing this. I make it very, very clear to myself. So here's my One Thing plan, my personal plan. You can see it here. I've put it up as a work example. I do this plan weekly. I update on my computer. That way it's online, it's in the cloud, and it syncs with my iPad, my iPhone, so I have it everywhere I go. I can be tweaking it as I go along. I start my plans, you can see here, with a few motivational reminders. So I say, if I'm not for me, who is for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? I also ask myself the question, I read this every day, I also ask myself the question, what do I want and what am I waiting for? And I think they're 2 really good questions. Then I remind myself of the habits I'm trying to form, the keystone habits. So I have examples such as early to bed, early to rise, meditate twice a day, work out daily, follow my diet, and so on. These are keystone habits. These are things that I think are really, really important in helping me shape the life I want. Remember, we talked about willpower on will call, that it isn't on will call. We talked about the struggles of personal discipline. Much better to form habits. We're all creatures of habit. Form the habits that will create the success in the life that you want. Then I ask myself the one thing question. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing this everything else is easier or even unnecessary? And that typically reflects my current priorities. Before I go into the plan proper then, you can see here I look at my personal hedgehog. So mine's all about energizing people to be all they can be. You can read it there for yourself. And the subheadings of passion, talent, and my economic driver. So I have that up there on the top of my plan, and I read this all the time. I'm always tweaking it and finding a better word, a better way of articulating it, so it makes more sense with me and resonates with me. And then comes the plan proper. I start the plan by articulating my purpose, my vision, my values, and my mission, my 2020 mission. So you can see my vision there too. Add maximum value to the world by being all I can be. My values are keep it simple, only do what works and gives a fair return to everybody, etc. You can read them there. And finally, my mission is to build a scalable business in the area of human and business performance improvement that plays to my natural strengths and allows me to live my vision of being all I can be and adding value to the world. So that's the core, if you wish, context for my plan and my big purpose. Then you can see below this, I drill down. And this is where we go to this back in the future, this goal setting to the now. We work our way backwards. So you can see under the headings of health, relationship, development, work, money and fun, I have a sort of a long-term goal. I then articulate that in a 36-month goal, a 12-month, a 90-day, a 30-day, and this week. Every week when I do my review meeting, I sit down, I look at this plan, I change what I'm going to do each week, each month. I'm always tweaking, always updating this plan. It's there on one sheet of paper. I can see it in front of me all the time and say, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Typically, in fact, I keep it up on my computer screen, sitting up in the middle of my screen. I have a large screen on my desktop. I keep it up there sitting in front of me all the time, and I reflect on it on a regular basis. The weekly planning meeting, which I will discuss later, but the weekly planning meeting is critical. When you have this plan done, irrespective of how poor a job you do at it, have a goal at it, write the plan and sit down every week and review, update, chunk out your time as discussed earlier. And when you do that, you'll find the plan will become more and more refined and clearer to you, and slowly but surely be able to fill in the boxes and get a real sense of context and a real sense of focus and priority, so that you will take, as we said before, purpose and priority and turn them into productivity. Thank you.